Well, how do you do? It's Morning in the Mountains on Mountain Fun Life. I'm Frank Murphy, joined once again by the festive Hawaiian-shirted Rich Haley.
Yes.
And the equally somber Brad Lovett. I got up this morning, I put on gray. I just, it's rainy again, so I wore gray. And my new gray and blue tie that I got for Christmas. So in case my wife is watching, I want her to see. Check this out, Jerry.
Yes.
Picked it out all by myself while you were asleep. Normally, my wife helps me with my wardrobe. I lovingly refer to my wife, Jerry, as the wardrobe department.
There we go.
So, a lot of stuff to talk about. Obviously, we've got the whole ring dang do coming up today with our program. But I know one of the topics I think we should probably cover right at the beginning of the show is yesterday. I was all curious about the Daytona 500, which at that point was only the Daytona 50.
Yes.
There was still 450 to go, and I didn't really know much about NASCAR. I've been to a NASCAR race. I've been to
okay. Which one did you go to?
The one that they have in Bristol.
Oh, okay. So would that be the Xfinity race or the Cup race?
Yeah. It was one or the other.
One of those.
It was the answer to your question. Was it the Cup or the not Cup? Yes, it was one of those.
It was one of those. Okay.
I think it was on a Saturday night.
Okay, so you went to the fall Bristol race. If it was Saturday night, then that would be the
was it in
Cup
August?
race.
Except it was like in August.
Yeah.
How was that fall?
Just go with it.
Okay. I went. Yeah, my friend Bill Christensen goes every year.
Yes.
And he said he had an extra ticket, and would you want to come? I said, well, that sounds interesting. However, I'll be on vacation out of town. He said, well, this is when it is. So I actually left vacation half a day early and drove myself, which is rare. I hate driving alone, all the way to where Bristol is, and went to the race with him. Met him there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a good time.
And then we went to Waffle House after, and I had eggs and bacon. I can tell you what I had at Waffle House more than I can tell you.
As I was just going to say, we can see where your priorities are. What's more important, the race or the post-race meal?
Right. But I'm also, this is ironic that I don't know about NASCAR because I'm acquainted with Dr. Jerry Punch, who is a famous NASCAR guy.
Right.
Sports commentator on television. He's a real doctor, lives in Knoxville now. And really I know him more because my wife is friends with his wife.
Okay.
So when the wives are friends, you kind of
right.
become acquainted. Hey, Dr. Jerry Punch, how's things going?
Yeah, I know.
And yeah, and we get invited to his daughter's wedding, and I know his daughter too because they had told me that she could sing and dance, and I said, well, let's put Jessie into the Front Page Follies show I was doing that year. So I'm friends with Jessie on Facebook, I'm friends with Jessie on Twitter and Instagram and all the things, and that's how I learned about the Daytona 500 last night. She is horrified by what happened at the end. So a long way to get to the news about Ryan Newman. In fact, what was trending last night was odd. It was Hope Newman. I thought, was that his wife's name? No. It was people writing, Hope Newman's okay.
Yep.
So tell me about what happened.
So if you weren't watching it or you haven't been online or you don't follow NASCAR at all, the Daytona 500...
you've probably seen somebody post that crash.
Yeah.
A video of the crash. You probably have.
Yeah, the end of the Daytona 500 was marred by an awful crash with Ryan Newman in it.
Now, was Newman in first place or second place?
He was in first place.
Oh, wow. He was winning.
He was winning.
And then oh my goodness. That's what I thought I saw. But again, I didn't want to trust my own instinct.
Yep. One of the things about Daytona and the other super speedway races is because of the design changes they've made to the cars, they all run at pretty close to the same speed. So they're all packed in real tight.
Okay.
So they're coming in at the end, and of course, everybody's within a split second of winning. More on that in a minute. And Ryan just got turned a little bit, and as he came around, his car rolled over, and then he got hit. So he was upside down.
So did someone hit him that caused him to turn, or did it? Oh, so
they
caused him to flip, rather.
Yeah, they pushed each other around the track. But as he went sideways at 200 miles an hour, the car started roll over onto its
I saw the sparks, and I was worried.
And then he got hit, and the gas tank ruptured, and the car was on fire. He was pinned inside the wreckage for several minutes. They had to rotate the car back over and then cut him out. It was one of the worst accidents that NASCAR has seen in a lot of years. And like you were saying, everybody was really worried about what was going to happen to Ryan Newman.
As I remember about 20 years ago, maybe 19 years ago, when Dale Earnhardt
Yes.
died at that same track.
And it was the exact same feel. The announcers, Jeff Gordon and Mike Joy, were both very somber, very subdued,
Yeah.
because they get to hear the in-car audio and the emergency radio feeds.
Now-
They'll have all that coming in.
And I wonder what
they
I
had
was
a lot more
listening to,
information.
because I heard one of the videos I watched online had the announcers, and they're still calling the finish of the race.
Yes.
Even though there's been a horrible wreck, and the other cars now have moved past the wreck. So they're still. So I thought, wait, are they ignoring the wreck? No, they can't yet because we're this close to the
They're
end.
doing the job. As a
Oh,
matter of
wow.
fact,
did
Ryan
not-
Newman's car flipped over about 100 yards from the finish line. He finished fourth, upside down and on fire.
They said that, and I didn't understand what that meant. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't say upside down on fire. They said, and Ryan Newman finishes fourth.
Yeah.
Like, no, he's finished. He might be dead. Thank
Yeah.
goodness he's not.
Yes, and that's the key to the story. They announced last night Ryan Newman is in serious condition with non-life-threatening injuries.
Wow.
So he's going to recover. So he's not going to pass, as far as we know right now. And that's a huge relief.
Yeah. I mean, was it 19 years ago that?
Something like that. It's been.
I mean,
a
I
while.
remember where this is horrible, but I'm not a NASCAR fan, but I remember where I was working at the time
Yeah.
that he died, and it was a job that I had in '99 and 2000. So it was either 2000, I don't know, 2000, 2001, whatever I had.
Yeah.
So it was either 19 or 20 years ago, depending. And we think if it was 20 years, they would have made a bigger deal.
Mm-hmm.
So
And it was the same exact circumstance.
Wow.
Final minutes of the race, last moves, trying to get where they were going, and so it was a scary, scary moment.
how did you find out about it?
Well, my son, being NASCAR fan that he is, we were watching with him.
Oh, okay.
And
So it was on
basically,
TV?
though, it was on TV,
Yeah.
but the thing is,
Like a regular channel, or?
I don't know.
It was
which
on
channel.
Fox,
It would have been
actually.
on one of the regular channels,
Yeah.
and with Mike Joy, and I think, if I remember right, Boogie Boogie, Darrell Waltrip's first race as a commentator, I believe.
Okay.
If I
Now, your
remember
wife obviously is a NASCAR fan because she's been the first to comment this morning, saying that it was on this date, actually, in 2001.
Wow.
Which would make sense.
Yeah.
But I mean, like I said, I remember, working at this gig around the time of the 2000 elections and into 2001 before it was the one I told you about, the internet company that had all of the stuff that we have in that many years ago and then went bankrupt.
Yep.
Well, yeah, that would make sense. Wow. Because we had to be very careful what we said on the air.
Yes.
You didn't want to, because we had all these idiot comedians who wanted to crack jokes. And we're like, oh, whoa,
Nope,
slow down. We're on the air in North Carolina. Slow down.
Yes.
We had like one affiliate, and it was in Hilton Head. Like, shush your
Yeah,
mouth.
you don't want to do that. But we didn't know by the time, just like last night, we didn't know by the time the broadcast had left the air.
Yeah.
Whether what had happened to Dale Earnhardt. So basically, it was prayers for Dale Earnhardt, and we found out a couple hours later.
Yep.
And my
Yeah.
I was no longer married to my son's mom, but I did call him when I found out, and it was it was really something else.
Oof. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that, I guess we all had that echo, that memory then of a fatal wreck at Daytona. So we're all very anxious about Ryan Newman, and you saw so many prayers for Newman on all the social media networks last night. And when I woke up this morning to see that it was non-life threatening was good.
Yeah.
Now, all of this happened in split seconds.
Yes.
I mean, when we say split seconds, it sounds like a cliche, but when we take a second and divide it up, like I'm looking at a clock right now that has tenths of seconds flying by, and in broadcast we're used to working in an industry that's certainly measured in seconds, and occasionally in tenths
Yes.
of seconds, splits of seconds. What about in the NASCAR world?
The finish was the second closest in NASCAR history.
So this means number one and number two?
Number one and number two.
Okay, and that was the
That
guy
was
who won
Denny Hamlin.
and the guy who came in second.
Nobody remembers who came in second.
But I can tell you who came in fourth,
Yes.
upside down and on fire.
Yes.
Okay.
So
Are you kidding that no one remembers who came in second?
I can't remember who came in second.
Or is that one of those things like either you win or you lose, and it doesn't matter?
That's where I was going with that.
Okay. All right.
So margin of victory was 14 thousandths of a second.
Oh, that's very little.
That's very little. And we're going to demonstrate that for you.
Thousandths.
14
No, that's even
thousandths.
smaller than I deal with. I deal with tenths of a second.
Yes,
But thousandths?
thousandths.
Ew. All
So
right.
0.014. So
Okay.
we're going to show you that.
All right.
And you guys are going to get a chance to play along as well. We've got a online stopwatch set up. And what we're going to do, because we're
Oh,
old
there it
guys
is.
and
Look at
slow,
that. There it is.
what we're going to do is we've got our engineer Hunter, and he's young and in his prime, and he is going to click the button as quickly as possible to see just how quickly he can start and
So-
stop a timer.
He's going to reset this to 0.
He's going to reset it to 0.
Okay. And see if he can get to 0.14 or below.
0.014.
Oh.
14
So what on this are we just going to see point?
So you'll just see 0.01.
Okay. So anything, all right. Wow. I won't even round up to 0.02 because that would be be 15 thousandths or higher.
Right.
Okay. So it's got to be 0.01.
All right. So
All right. Go ahead, Hunter. Let's see if you can do it. We're all watching the clock over here. That's a tenth of a second. So that's like 10. That's what, a 17th of a second? I mean,
That's 170 thousandths.
hundreds. Okay. So that's not good either.
Yep.
Try it again. Oh, see if you can do it that, but 10 times faster. Wow, that's so fast. Whoa. So what do they have to? They have computers, obviously, that
Yes.
measure the cars coming across.
Yep. They have a timing beam going across the finish line that's hooked up to a fast computer, and that's how they can measure it. Because on a photo finish, that's going to look like a tie, even
Yeah,
with
yeah.
a high-speed camera.
Well, I know this is going to sound ridiculous, but the last race I watched was my grandson's Pinewood Derby,
Okay.
and they. I know, but they have computerized timers for the Cub Scout Pinewood Derby now.
Yep.
And you see the results in tenths of seconds.
Yep.
So one more time, Hunter, can you try it one more time? I think it's impossible. I don't think it can be done to be 0.01.
0.01.
Here he goes. No, see?
Yep.
It's I don't think our machinery is fast enough to do it. I mean, because that would be like it, not even
Yeah.
that fast.
Yeah.
Like if you double click a mouse, that's still longer.
Yep. And that's what he's doing over there. He's double-clicking a mouse, and that's
Wow.
So, that
I mean,
tells you.
if I took the timer on the stopwatch on my phone,
Yeah, try it.
there is zero way, I think. How does it even work? You start and stop. Okay,
Yep.
so let's see. I'd have to do start, stop so fast. See, that's
170
100 times slower
Yeah.
than, wow. All right, this is really hard. You can't, wow. Try this on your phone and just try to hit the start, stop button in less than a tenth of a second. You can't, I got 0.08.
Ooh, that's my best. That's my personal best. Is 0.08.
Yeah.
So try
That's
it on
like
your
the
phones.
blood alcohol level, right?
Yep, try it on your phones. We've also got a link that we'll post here in a minute to the online one we're using. You can take a screen capture and post it in the comments, and we'll see who is fastest among the Morning in the Mountains viewers. You can performance enhance with coffee if you want to, or Red Bull.
Oh, I've been drinking coffee all day.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't think I can get back to my 0.08 though.
Craig, thanks for liking my shirt.
Oh yeah, you can. And yeah, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
We both reached for it at the same time, but I had the open water bottle on your side. Let me
Yep.
move it so that
So-
we don't have that trouble.
Yep, Frank said it was gray outside, so he decided to dress gray. I decided I'm going in a different direction. So bring a little light and color and fun to this
Now,
gloomy day.
I think you've worn a Hawaiian shirt every day, though.
Yes.
How many do you have?
I counted the other day just to see how long I could go without having a repeat, and I have 21 Hawaiian shirts.
Well, that's good.
Kind of my thing.
So if you're on the show 3 days a week, that's 7
That's
weeks.
7 weeks.
That's really good.
Yeah.
See, now my wife has I have one of my part-time jobs that I do after. Well, it only takes literally it's 14 days a year that we do all the shooting. So we do do a quiz show on PBS, and there's 60 episodes. So I like to never repeat.
Okay.
But usually it's the tie
Yeah.
because I have different combinations. Like if I have to wear the same tie twice, it's with a different shirt and jacket, so it looks different.
Yeah.
But now that my mom and sister have figured out that I can use more ties, I'll buy them.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh look, here's thank you. Did you do that, Hunter? Put through the link to the V clock.
Good job.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Oh, and he even used the analog version. I like it.
Enabled to milliseconds.
Yes.
Okay. Wow.
Perfect.
All right. Well done. Well done. Well done. All right. Well, thank you for explaining the news that's certainly on our minds from yesterday's conversation. And we're also thinking about our dear Kira. Kira Cup, was there at the Daytona 500. She was on Team Fincham. We talked a lot yesterday about Chad Fincham, how he improved his standing in his first big league race.
Yes.
He's been racing in the minor. He's only 25, but he's been racing in the minor leagues since high school, I guess. And now is going to make it, I think, into the bigs. I think he's on the verge, on the cusp. Well, so Kira went there to video him.
Yes, use the short words.
Yeah, because she's his videographer. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. So I guess she'll come back
So I guess that
tomorrow.
means Chad has an entourage.
Oh, yeah. He totally has an entourage because he's got his mom and dad, Jim and Linda Fincham, or James and Linda Fincham.
I don't think it's an entourage if it's your parents.
They think they are on his entourage.
Oh, okay.
Because when you see the Facebook posts from James and Linda, they're very proud. But also, they were talking about the family last night. They posted a lot about the NASCAR family and their hope and prayers for Ryan Newman.
Yeah.
So, well, when Kira on Thursday, I think Kira's going to be here on Thursday's show. I think she's traveling home tomorrow.
Okay.
And we'll ask her all about it. So, oh boy.
Yep.
All right. Now, Brad, you also sent us a list of things that we're covering on today's show. I know we're going to hit the Rose Glen Literary Festival. I think we have that interview queued up. But take us through some of the other upcoming events and whatnot in the Smoky Mountains.
Well, we do have a couple of quick traffic notes for you.
Okay.
And the Rangers tell us that Little River Road from Elkmont Junction to Townsend is closed because of a rock slide. So if you are heading that direction, you'll want to make sure that you watch out for that, and a couple of other closures.
That's not what KISS does when they go down on their knees and
Ow! Now they try to get back up at this age, but anyway.
That's a different kind of rock slide.
Right, there you go. Now, also we've got the usual Cades Cove, and that's only going to be about another week if they're on schedule anyway, the Cades Cove closure. So we'll be looking forward to the grand reopening of Cades Cove very soon. But you can hike there if you're really so inclined.
Yeah, wait till it stops raining,
Not
maybe.
sure I would, but if knock yourself out if that's what you would like to do. And Cove Road, getting to Cataloochee, that's going to be closed all the way through through about May. Sometime in May, they'll reopen that. And also, if you're coming into the area through I-40 from North Carolina, you'll find some delays right around the Tennessee-North Carolina state line. So we do have all that. And a lot of other things that are happening this week and the next couple of weeks here.
Yeah.
We do want to say congratulations to one of our friends in the travel business.
Oh, sure.
Caitlin Gouge, who's the Island in Pigeon Forge's Marketing and Communications Director. She won the Shining Example Rising Star Award from the Southeast
cool.
Tourism Society.
All right.
Excellent. Yeah, I remember Caitlin from that one night when it was pouring rain and I had to MC their Halloween contest, and it was just. She was literally the only shining star that night. I couldn't have made it through without her.
Yep.
Good.
And the Southeast Tourism Society is a non-profit organization dedicated to the promotion and development of tourism throughout the Southeast. There are 12 member states, including this one, and their membership is approaching 1,000 individuals who represent a wide range of travel-related businesses and organizations.
All right. So Dollywood usually gets awards from them too, I bet.
They do.
Okay, good. I'm glad the island got something. I like it over there.
Yeah.
It's pleasant.
Yeah.
And they got, I've got the store that sells nothing but socks. That's what I sent my sister for Christmas. I got her some socks at the All Socks store, and she liked them.
Gotta love that.
Yeah.
One of our other businesses has an award, at least a nice write-up, the Old Mill. Specifically, it's Fill You Up Breakfast. They earned a shout-out in Food and Wine magazine's 2020 roundup, headlined the best classic restaurants in every state.
Oh, nice. So, and which is best classic restaurants? Okay. Now, I can't remember the last time I've been to the Old Mill. It's been a while. What do you like to get when you go there? What do we normally order?
The fried chicken's good.
That's good. I mean, like good, or like really good? Like,
really good.
Like slap your mama good.
Slap your mama good.
That's a good thing, right?
Yes.
All right.
Except in my house. If I slapped my mom, my dad would have shot me.
No,
So.
of course not. I don't mean that at all. Thank you, Glenn Cothran, for your comments.
Yeah.
We appreciate that, and I agree that the island is a great place to walk around and see stuff. My wife and I we'll get back to the island in a second. We finished on the Old Mill because they're obviously in competition with one another.
Okay. Well, basically, that the old mill write-up, it was in Food and Wine. Like I said, the best breakfast in every state before that. And we do want you to let us know, because we asked the other day on our Facebook about what you were having for breakfast that day.
Yeah.
And some folks responded, so if you would like to let us know what you think is the best breakfast in the Smoky Mountains, leave a comment.
I saw that too late because my wife we had already polished off the delicious scrambled eggs, bacon, and toast that my wife had made us for breakfast that day. It was like Saturday, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
we had the same thing that day.
Because,
Jennifer and I.
because on Sunday we went to Waffle House. So go ahead.
I was just going to say Waffle House is not the best breakfast in Sevier County.
No, I was not in Sevier County.
Okay.
I was at the good Waffle House on Paper Mill.
Yeah. Oh, they're good. Don't get me wrong. They're good. That's the nice thing about Waffle House. Anywhere you go, it's going to be about the same level. It's just going to be good, satisfying food.
Well, that's how I'm good at eating jalapenos. Remember the episode
Yes.
where Kira tried to surprise me by getting me to bite into a jalapeno and accidentally flipped it on herself, and I had no problem eating it. And
Yes.
she thought she must have bought mild jalapenos. So she crunches into it and finds out they're not mild.
Yeah.
It's just I'm used to eating jalapenos in the Fiesta omelet at Waffle House. So Glenn says, great chowder, great corn chowder at the Old Mill.
Yes.
And then we also still want to hear about your breakfast things. But zipping back to the island for a second, I saw that Paula Dean's restaurant. Do you see that billboard on the way in? It was one of the electronic ones, so it might have flipped onto something different when you guys were driving in. Is having a job fair. I think tomorrow. Does that sound right?
That sounds right, yes.
Because that's when you go and you have to learn what a hoe cake is. Because when you first walk in and they want to give you hoe cakes, you're like, wait a minute, I'm not positive that I want that on my resume, you know. But yeah, I think it was tomorrow, February 19th. It must be.
Yes.
And they had a billboard about Paula Dean's. So I guess they need new hoe cakers, people to make more hoe cakes. So if you want to go make some hoe cakes at Paula Dean's,
I can do that.
they appear to be hiring. Glenn. Craig already commented. Glenn is on fire with the comments today.
Yes.
What does he mean by Mama's is a great place for breakfast? Which Mama's? Your own mother? Or is there a restaurant?
Mama's Farmhouse.
Where's that?
That is located here in Pigeon Forge. They also have a smaller version in Gatlinburg. It's
called Not Your Mama's?
Mama's Chicken Kitchen.
Oh,
And it's
okay.
right next to Pop's Subs. It's kind of heading out of town
Yeah.
in Gatlinburg.
All right. Yeah, I saw there's a lot of my friends were posting about a newish place in Gatlinburg where the intersection of the Glades, when you come out of the Glades.
Yeah.
And that's the way I usually travel to Gatlinburg when I'm coming from Knoxville. Is I go back through Pittman Center and all that, come out through the Glades.
The
There's
Glades.
some restaurant that must have opened recently there that my friends are liking, so I need to go.
Okay.
Here's another restaurant selection. Any relation?
Yes, that's one of my daughters.
She says.
The Bayou Benedict at Brick and Spoon is the best breakfast in Pigeon Forge.
Does that mean it's an Eggs Benedict?
It's an Eggs Benedict. Brick and Spoon is a themed restaurant that they only serve breakfast and brunch. So they're only open in the morning to early afternoon.
That makes sense. There's a lot of, like, First Watch is a national chain that does that same
Yep.
idea. Yeah.
So they have multiple different Benedicts. And the Bayou Benedict, I haven't had it, but I'm guessing it has shrimp and Cajun seasonings and stuff
I
like
like
that on
Cajun
it. So it would be
seasoning.
very good.
That's what I was telling you yesterday that
Hi, Cassandra.
Tammy Bolt from the Gatlinburg Chamber of Commerce was at the grand opening of that new place, Ruby something. Ruby Slippers, Ruby Sunshine.
Ruby Sunshine.
Ruby Tuesday, not Tuesday, that would be wrong.
Yes.
Ruby Sunshine. Was that a movie? Was there a movie called Ruby Sunshine?
I can't think of one now.
Now, what was the one? Little Miss Sunshine. Am I
Yes,
thinking of
Little
that?
Miss Sunshine,
All right, anyway.
yes.
So Tammy Bolt went there, and she had some kind of assorted Benedicts, multiple Benedicts.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's funny. I think of Benedict and I automatically go to Benedict Arnold.
Me
Right,
too.
yes.
And
The
is that-
Benedict Arnold.
So are these Trader eggs?
I guess.
Are they? What's the deal with who is the Eggs Benedict named after?
I don't
let's
know.
see.
We're going to find out, though. I guess.
For whom are Eggs Benedict named?
Nice grammar.
I know I
I'll find
can't.
this on the web.
All right. Well, that doesn't really help me. I have to click on stuff. Oh, there's a Wikipedia, so we'll go to that.
There you go. Because Wikipedia is never wrong.
No, never ever.
Well, it's an American breakfast or brunch dish, English muffin, poached egg, bacon or ham, hollandaise sauce. It was popularized in New York City. Okay, well, that still could very much be Benedict Arnold. In 1860, not so much. Delmonico's. My parents used to go to Delmonico's once in a while. Back in 1860. My parents went in 1960, but whatever. All right, well, can't really find out which Benedict. It probably was like a waiter, or, that's how like the Caesar salad is not named after Julius Caesar.
Right.
It's named after some guy, not Sid Caesar either, but some guy whose last name was Caesar.
Yep.
Or Caesar was his first name, and he made that. All right, Commodore Benedict's recipe. So that's what we're going with. Commodore E.C. Benedict.
There you go.
Anyone? Elias Cornelius Benedict. And it looks like on Wikipedia that they've taken a stock photo of the captain of the Titanic. Or do they all look the same all Commodores look the same?
Yes.
Is that how that is? Yep. Oh no, he was a banker and a yachtsman. Okay, and he enjoyed Eggs Benedict. That's his claim to fame.
So Cassandra just sent what was in the Bayou Benedict.
Yeah.
Shrimp, crawfish in a Cajun cream sauce over biscuits and poached eggs. Now see,
You
there
predicted it.
I'm with you there because I'm not a big English muffin fan, but I love my biscuits. So that I may have to go do that.
Now,
What time do we get done here? I may just.
Well, it depends on every time I stop talking.
Oh crap!
I mean, really, that's right.
Right, yeah.
Can we, anyone
exactly.
want to challenge that assertion?
Okay, yesterday's theme was
I
Old
already
Guy
think I already
Day.
got that one
Oh,
through.
did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
But we're making Megan hungry, so I'm sorry. But Megan was making soup yesterday. She was sending me pictures and videos of her. She's making chicken soup from scratch.
Okay.
So she's cutting up the vegetables. She's boiling them down. She's got the chicken going in and sending pictures along the way in the progress. And by coincidence, I'm listening to Cab Calloway music in the car as these texts are coming in. So Siri is reading to me in the Irish accent. Megan sent a text that I've just sliced the chicken breast to go into the pot, or whatever it is she says.
Yes.
And then I am listening to Cab Calloway singing a song that I've never heard before in my life. I'm discovering this old-timey 1920s music, because
Yes.
why not, or 30s music.
Mm-hmm.
And it was called, now I have to look. It was something about a chicken ain't nothing but a bird.
Okay.
It's hilarious. Because a lot of these songs were very funny back in those
Yes.
days. Yeah. So I sent it to Megan, and she says it's now her new favorite song. Yeah. It's called
Yep.
A Chicken Ain't Nothing But a Bird by Cab Calloway.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's weird that the coincidence was that she's texting me about chicken, and then I'm listening to a song about chicken.
All right. And Glenn is chiming in to help out,
All right.
saying, according to Delmonico's legend, Eggs Benedict was created for and named after restaurant regulars Mr. and Mrs. Legrand Benedict
Well, go edit Wikipedia, because they're giving it
Yeah.
to Commodore Benedict.
in the 1860s.
Well, 1860s was, the time
Yeah.
frame matches, but they were talking about maybe Commodore Benedict was named after Eggs Benedict.
Could be.
Which came first, the Commodore or the egg?
And they named the biscuits after the Legrands.
Oh,
Isn't that a biscuit? The Grand Biscuits?
I thought it was a song by ZZ Top.
That's LaGrange.
Oh, LaGrange.
Yes.
Now, Megan is now quoting lines from Cab. Megan's my daughter, by the way. You think I'm old. My lovely daughter is now quoting lyrics from the great Cab Calloway, who also has one of my other favorite songs called Everybody Eats When They Come to My House.
Okay.
And he rhymes types of food with people's names. So you get chili con carne for Barney.
Now, you realize that all of those songs have double meanings.
I kind of know, but I haven't really thought about it.
Okay.
What are you talking about? They're all like sex songs or double entendre? Or what are you talking
Yeah,
about?
double entendre.
Okay.
I let you say it first because I didn't know how to pronounce it.
Oh, everybody eats when they come to my house, and a chicken ain't nothing but a bird.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I'll work on that. Now, meanwhile, Aaron says Lemuel Benedict ordered something for his hangover in 1894. So that would make sense. Another reason, very controversial, of how Eggs Benedict came
Yes.
to be.
It's fights break out all the time over who got the naming rights.
But it's not Benedict Arnold.
It's not Benedict Arnold.
Okay. All right. Well, let's keep your comments coming in,
Yes.
please, about eggs and whatever else you want to talk about. Bacon. You want to talk about bacon? Chicken? I don't care. I love all that stuff. But we're also going to talk about literary and books and
That we are.
things
It is almost time for the Rose Glen Literary Festival. In fact, it happens on Saturday. The luncheon speaker is novelist Teresa Ann Foster, who's a New York Times bestselling author.
I think it's Fowler.
Fowler, I'm sorry. Did
Yeah.
I say that wrong?
Yeah.
I guess I did. Well, I do apologize. Alrighty, they have that in that font.
Yeah.
I couldn't quite read it.
Teresa Ann Fowler, New York Times
Alrighty.
and USA Today best-selling author. The reason I have it pulled up is I think I have to introduce her. I think I have to. I think I have the privilege
Yes.
of introducing her at this luncheon. She wrote a book called Z, a novel of Zelda Fitzgerald, which is a big deal because it's been a bestseller. How about a pancake, Mandrake? We're going back to Everybody Eats when they come to my house.
And I think we might want to go ahead and do the interview that we did about
Yes.
the.
Carol McMahon, who is with the Sevierville Chamber of Commerce, he does a lot of the work for the Bloomin' Barbecue and Bluegrass Festival, and this is his pet festival because he's also an historian and a writer. So he had this opportunity to create a festival, and I think he tells the origin story in this interview. So I won't spoil it yet, but it's coming up on Saturday. Starts at 10 a.m. at the Convention Center. I'll be there to introduce Dr. Bill Bass at 10, and apparently Teresa Ann Fowler at noon. So it's all free except for Teresa Ann Fowler because that's a lunch. So it's like $25, so you can hear her speak and get fed at the same time. So let's please roll that interview with Carol McMahon. Thank you for watching Morning in the Mountains on Mountain Fun Life. Hi, I'm Frank Murphy, and today I get to speak to a good friend, a longtime friend, Carol McMahon, who is with the Sevierville Chamber of Commerce and is the coordinator for a fantastic festival, the Rose Glen Literary Festival, now in its 11th year?
That's correct. We're growing every year.
Now, you yourself are an author, historian, storyteller. I mean, we see you around Sevierville all the time. But going back, I guess, 11 years, how did you get started on this idea for the Rose Glen Literary Festival?
Well, actually, I went to the Chamber of Commerce CEO, Brenda McCroskey, who's my boss, and suggested that we have a literary festival, something that would attract a different clientele from what usually comes to special events here in Sevier County.
Yeah.
And she said, well, do you have anything in mind? And I told her this idea of the literary festival, and she said, well, as long as it doesn't cost any money, you're welcome to do it. So I was a big enough fool to take her up on it, and I got in touch with Walter State Community College, and we had the first one there.
And of course, it's grown to be big and probably does cost a little bit of money now.
The fourth year we had Dr. Bill Bass.
Yes.
And we realized then that we didn't have enough room, that we needed to move to a larger space.
Gotcha.
So we moved to the Sevierville Convention Center, and we've been there.
And Dr. Bass still comes every year to the
He
festival.
doesn't come every year, but he
but-
comes quite frequently.
And this year he's coming?
He's coming, yeah.
Oh, cool. Excellent.
He'll be there. He always does a good job. His friend Art Bohannon will be there with him as well.
Excellent. And they both have books, of course. that
They
they'll be
both have
talking about.
books. Some of them, some of the settings are in Sevier County.
Yeah.
Of course, Art Bohannon is a native born and raised Sevier
Yeah.
County.
Yeah.
So they're always very popular, and they're part of what I call our back by popular demand authors. Bill Landry's been coming for
Oh,
quite a few years
fantastic.
as
From
well.
the Heartland series.
From the Heartland series, and he's always popular. And Sam Venable.
The News Sentinel columnist
Right.
who's got so many books.
And the first year that we had the festival, I knew I had to come up with a good keynote speaker
Yeah.
that I could get for free.
Yeah.
And so I called on my good friend Stephen Lynn Bales from the Himes Nature Center, who had just written a book. Well, the book was about, more or less about geography of the East Tennessee area. And that's the first thing that my boss called me on. Is anyone going to come to hear someone talk about geography? Really? And I said, trust me on this one.
Yeah.
And she did, and he was a huge success. He has enough humor in his talk.
Good.
So he set the bar that first year.
And you continue that by having a great keynote speaker each year. And I'm looking on the website. You've got one again, of course, this year, which is coming up February 22nd.
Yes.
Which is a Saturday at the Sevierville Convention
Yeah,
Center. Who's the keynote?
Let me just say that she is following Robert Beatty, who wrote
Oh, yeah.
the Serafina series,
He was last year.
who was there last year on the day of the floods.
Oh, right, because
And
February.
in the middle of the luncheon, although we had our phones on silence, they all went off during his talk.
warning, yeah.
With the warning, but that just adds to the tradition.
Well, I hope you have drier weather this year.
Well, we're hoping
It's the
so.
same weekend, though, February 22nd.
It's always the fourth Saturday.
Well,
in
tell us about this
February.
year's keynote.
Teresa Ann Fowler is coming this year, and we chose her for a couple of reasons. One, it seems we've had a series of men for our keynote speakers, and it was just time to have a woman, and the timing was good because this is the centennial of the 19th Amendment.
Yes.
End of women's
Which has a
suffrage.
huge Tennessee
It
link,
does.
of course. That deciding vote was cast in Tennessee.
So we wanted to find an author who, a female author who was well known, who had written about strong women. And I had read a couple of her work. The first book that I read was Z, the story of Zelda Fitzgerald, and it was a historical novel, and it was excellent, and it made the New York Times bestseller list. She turned right around and wrote one about Alva Vanderbilt Belmont,
Oh, that's interesting.
who was a suffragette from way back,
Yeah.
and one of the first women in high society to ever get a divorce, and she just checked all the boxes of a strong woman, and plus she's got Fowler has a brand new book that's coming out in March. We hoped it would be out in time for the festival, but it's not going to.
Well, I'm sure she'll
quite
have
make it.
pre-orders.
Right, called A Good Neighborhood.
Excellent.
It's sort of changing her mode just a little bit. It's going to be focusing on racial relations in a southern city, and I've had the great honor of getting to read it a little early, and it's an excellent book.
Wow.
And so we're looking forward to having her for our luncheon speaker,
That's Teresa
Teresa Ann Fowler.
Ann Fowler. Well done.
And
That's
the only thing that there's a cost for is the lunch, and
Okay.
it's well worth the price of the tickets. You get to hear this excellent speaker. You get a customized piece of pottery from pottery here in Pigeon Forge, and you also get your lunch for
Yeah.
only $25. So that's a really good deal.
and is it best to order those in advance?
It is.
And that's
It
the
is.
website.
At www.roseglenfestival.com.
Excellent. Well, Carol McMahon, congratulations on 11 years of a successful festival. I really appreciate
Well,
what you
thanks
do
for
for the
having me.
community. All right, the Rose Glen Literary Festival on Saturday, February 22nd. Get the tickets online for that luncheon, and then everything else you'll see that day is free at the Sevierville Convention Center. Wonderful.
Thank
All right,
you.
Thank you. You're watching Morning in the Mountains. More of the show right after this. Either that interview was pre-recorded, or like Superman, I could change back to Clark Kent in the time it takes to go da, 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 da.
I think Brad and I are both very happy that it was pre-recorded.
Yes. Because we don't even have a phone booth here, so I don't know what to tell you about that.
Just don't look, Ethel.
Thank you, Ray Stevens and the Streak. So that reminds me of old songs. We'll get back to more old songs in just a moment. I heard something weird. Well, I'll tell you in a second. But we ran through the calendar there. We're talking about the Rose Glen Literary Festival this Saturday, free admission except for the big lunch. So you want to check that out over in Sevierville. What else is on the Smoky Mountain calendar, Brad?
We've got some more chances for you to give blood,
Oh, yeah.
and that's going to be Thursday at Smoky Mountain Knife Works. They're
Which we still think is hilarious because they can stick you.
Absolutely.
I'm sure everything will be done properly with the
yeah,
sterile equipment.
They'll stick you with a
Not
needle.
nice.
I mean, I'm not saying they'll stick you with a knife. I'm saying they'll stick you with a needle.
Yes. But anyway, it's happening. That is tomorrow, noon to 6, and all donors will receive a free T-shirt and a Texas Roadhouse appetizer, and all blood types needed. And also at Sevier County Electric System on Friday, the mobile hours are 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Again, you get the free T-shirt and a Texas Roadhouse appetizer.
I'm proud of how many Medic Blood T-shirts I have. I mean, I've got dozens. Mm-hmm. I love them. They're really high quality T-shirts that last a long, long time. Because I've had some now for 15 plus years, and they're still just as good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That they are. Thursday and Friday, Beethoven's Eroica, meaning heroic,
I'm going.
at the Tennessee Theater.
Are you surprised?
No, not at
No.
all. Then Saturday, the Rose Glen Literary Festival, which we've already mentioned, and at Hard Rock Cafe on Saturday, it'll be a free music night with Brother Rains. Saturday, it's Kansas at the Tennessee Theater,
That's sold out, I think.
more than likely.
I think it's been sold out for a
Yeah,
while.
Like the first 10 minutes of tickets, probably.
Yeah, last time I looked, they had a couple of singles. They had some single seats here and there. So if you don't want to sit with your Valentine or your date,
So if they
You said
sing
somebody
Dust in
else's
the Wind
Valentine.
while it's raining, is it mud on the road?
yes, they do update it for the weather.
There we go.
It's very appropriate. Yeah, they give you the
Beaufort scale.
Beaufort scale. They alter the song based on the Beaufort scale.
All right.
Yeah, Dust in the Wind 7.
Mud on the Road.
Sure.
Sledge in the Sewer. You know, just whatever works.
But you mentioned Beethoven's Eroica.
Yeah.
I got a memo from somebody asking if we were giving away, or a note email asking if we're giving away tickets to Beethoven's Erotica. And it made it through multiple levels of passing around before it got to me. I'm like, guys, it's not Beethoven's Erotica, right? We're clear on that?
Yeah.
It's heroic, which he wrote for Napoleon originally. It was originally called Bonaparte. And then he said, and then Napoleon declared himself to be emperor of whatever. And Beethoven got irritated because he was still working on the symphony at this time, back in 1800 whatever, and renamed it, took it out, unnamed it for Napoleon. But the middle part, second movement, is like a funeral dirge part.
Yes.
So they play it at famous people's funerals throughout history for the past, I guess, 200 years, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that's Thursday at the Eroica. Very exciting. And then all the other stuff you said, the rock and roll, the fun stuff.
Right, and we also have Spring Fling at Ober-Gatlinburg.
Oh, nice.
Happening on Saturday. Returning this year, it's the crowd
Again,
favorite with pond skimming and
hang on.
snowboarding.
Spring Fling on February 22nd.
Yes,
Okay.
because it's harder to do skiing and snowboarding if it's like, say, March or April.
In the actual spring,
Yes.
so we're rounding up.
Right.
Yes, we're looking
Okay.
forward to
We're
spring.
more than halfway through winter. We're rounding up.
And time change isn't even that far away.
Yeah,
That's true.
That's the same weekend as the Gatlinburg Improv Fest. So we not only do we improvise till midnight, we lose an hour of sleep immediately thereafter. Oh, great.
Yep.
All right, cool. Is that everything, or is there another screen we're going to look at? What is this one? Spring Fling. Put that up, Hunter, so I can see what it says. Thank you. And then Ober Rocks.
Ober Rocks, that's the same night.
Okay, excellent. Well, thank you for taking us through the calendar. That's got a lot of good stuff already this weekend. You think we're in the quote-unquote slow season, the doldrums in the Smoky Mountains, but we're not.
Nope.
A lot of people counter-program and put their things on like this in the so-called slow months, but have at, see if you can get a cheaper hotel because of it.
Yes.
That's pretty cool. So we've been talking about old songs throughout the course of the show. I'm talking really old songs with my Beethoven Eroica, which I'm very excited about.
Yes.
It's a beautiful symphony. Beethoven's would have been 250 years old this year. So they're cranking through like all of his bigs.
Okay.
They did the ninth last year. I went to Beethoven's first symphony recently. I went to the seventh symphony in November, and now they're doing, which one is it? The third. This is the third, Eroica Symphony number 3. Huge good stuff. But I also heard some regular oldies, like rock and roll oldies. There's a high school radio station. You probably know it, at Fulton High School.
Yes.
Okay.
And they play oldies, which is odd because the kids who go to school there are what? By definition, they're high school, so 15,
High school,
16,
so yes.
17, right? All right. But they play songs that were already oldies when I was in high school. 50s and 60s oldies, that kind of stuff. So I'm driving here today, and the Fulton High School station is playing a song by Ringo Starr.
Uh-huh.
So I think it was after the Beatles broke up, so it might have been in the 70s. But still, I'm not even in high school yet when this song was out. And I'm hearing it on a high school radio station, and it had a new spin to me because the song is, "You're 16, you're beautiful, and you're mine." Which I think normally nowadays we think of those songs as creepy.
Right.
Young Girl by Creepo. What's that guy who sang Young Girl and all that? Get Out of My Mind.
Gary Puckett. Yes.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Yep.
That's inappropriate now. That should be banned. And even my friends, the Stray Cats, I love them. But She's Sexy and 17.
Well, they were
Inappropriate.
18, 19 at the time, so it was okay.
All right. And then Ringo Starr doing You're 16, You're Beautiful, and You're Mine, which actually I think is a cover
Yes.
of
It
an
is a
old Johnny
cover.
Burnett song, maybe.
Yes, that's true.
Yep.
All right. But when you hear it at a high school radio station, does it become more innocent?
Yes.
That would be interesting.
Because the kids who are playing it, the DJs there, are 16 and 17, or 15, 16, 17. So is it
Well-
less creepy then?
I don't know. People have talked about, well, if an oldies artist is singing "You're 16" and you're 70 or 80,
Like Gary Puckett.
But the thing is, we're not talking about them, They're thinking about the 17-year-old when they were 18 or whatever.
Right,
Yes.
they're putting
So they're thinking,
themselves.
okay, and this 17-year-old is a grandmother as well, But they were not thinking about,
Right.
what the heck is that would be.
So, so the song was intended to be age appropriate.
Yes.
Yes.
For someone who would date a 16-year-old.
Yes.
Not Ringo Starr. As
Who was in his probably 30s or 40s by then.
Yeah, because he was out of the Beatles.
Yeah.
Okay. So, all right. So hearing it on a high school radio station is better, though. I'm
Yes.
going to say. All right. Now let's
Okay.
say hi to. It's Tony, right? Tony Flanagan.
Looks like it.
She is one of our top fans, and we appreciate that.
And
all
that
right.
is sheer envy, am I correct?
Yes.
Yeah, which I found out later is I think a haircut place. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep.
Because she used to. Thank you for rewriting your comment, Tony. Because when we first started the show, she would put sheer envy watching, and I thought, oh well, I know it's a good job that I've got here, but you don't have to be that jealous. I know I'm lucky to have. We're all lucky to
Yeah.
be sitting here,
Yes.
running our mouths with cameras pointed at
Yes.
us. You don't have to be envious. You know, you can make your own show on YouTube. Everyone does
Yeah,
it.
that's what we're doing.
YouTube, Facebook, and Roku. So do check us
And
out.
don't forget the podcasts.
And the yes, Bob, our big boss, our president, was telling us that he listens to the podcasts almost as much as he watches.
Yes.
He enjoys that. So when graphics come on the screen, I'm supposed to verbally describe what they are. I don't think we've had any pictures today that I should have described, right?
Nope.
We just had words on the screen that described what we were already saying. So I think I'm cool. So podcast listeners, I'm thinking of you. I just made a 2 thumbs up gesture like Fonzie.
But there's nothing better to do when you're driving down here from Ohio is to just binge listen to our podcast.
Yes.
So you're ready
Yeah.
for your vacation.
It's on all the things. It's on iHeart, which is where I'm listening to all this Cab Calloway music, by the way. I punch over from the podcast, the Morning in the Mountains podcast. I punch over to this imaginary Cab Calloway radio station that iHeart is what do you call it? The artificial intelligence that caused them
Yeah.
to fire all my friends.
Yes.
All my friends who work for iHeart are getting fired
Yes, right.
left and right. And I am feeling guilty listening to one of these AI radio stations that decides what to play based on what I thumbs up. So I'm thumbs upping a lot of Cab Calloway and Louis Jordan. Anyway, Tony watches us on the Roku.
Ah, good.
Thank you. I appreciate that. The Roku is awesome.
My wife has Roku. She never watches us because she says, I see you at home all the time.
Well, my mom, when I called my mom yesterday and told her something that was said on the air yesterday, and she was interested in hearing the story. I don't know if it was the elevator, got stuck in the elevator story or the rancid strawberries story, but one of those caught her attention. So her intention was to watch us on Roku last night when she went to bed, because that's where it is. It's in her bedroom.
Ah, okay.
So, Mom, maybe you're watching today too? Maybe,
Yeah.
possible.
So hi, Frank's mom.
And then my friend Dia, whose birthday was yesterday, was sending the link to the show to her mom so that her mom could watch me, because I think her mom always wishes that Dia had married me instead of, but no, Dia's got a wonderful husband. I'm teasing. And wonderful twins. But anyhow,
Okay.
let's carry on with high school radio to high school sports.
All right, high school sports. We did have some basketball games yesterday. Sevier County played Cosby. This was a makeup game because of all of the fluting that we had over the last couple of weeks.
You might have to explain fluting.
Flooding plus flu.
Right.
So we had lots of rain and lots of, we'll just call them drizzles from the nose of
I'd like to point out,
Orify.
I'd like to point out to our podcast listeners that we're not showing any pictures of flooding or flu. It's just us talking.
Yeah, my wife did tell me that I look much better on the podcast than I do on the show.
Yeah, it's a nice. That's a nice caricature of you. That looks like the mountain.
Yes. All right, so was that a fat joke?
No,
Okay. All right, back to Sevier County and basketball.
that would be me throwing stones from my glass house.
So Sevier County played Cosby, and both the boys and the girls won. The boys won 79-55. The girls won 65-41. Seymour, the boys played against Cott County, and it was a close game, but they came up on the short end, 67-61. The girls will be playing Wednesday, and I believe they're playing against Morristown West. Pigeon Forge played Granger. The boys won 76-74, and the girls lost 67-39. So we're almost done with the regular season. There's a couple more makeup games, and then we'll go into the district tournament. So basketball is starting to get a little bit exciting. Tonight, UT men play Vandy. This is a key game. It's a must-win. Pretty much the rest of the way, it's a must-win if they're hoping to get into the tournament. The way I scheme it out, it looks like they're going to finish up with about 17 wins in the regular season. So once we get into the SEC tournament, 2 1 games at a minimum to even
Okay.
hope to get into the tournament.
And that would be by invitation as opposed
Yes.
to earning a spot. Okay.
Exactly.
All right.
So, and getting back to NASCAR, a couple of cool things about the race. First of all, obviously, Ryan Newman has survived, and that's the best news ever.
We talked about it at the top of the show. If you're just
Yeah.
joining us now, once the show finishes, you can go back to the beginning and get the update on Ryan Newman.
So, Denny Hamlin won. That is the first time since 1995 when Sterling Marlin did it that a driver's won back-to-back Daytona 500s. So
By 13 thousandths of a second.
Yes. Now, one thing that's kind of interesting, we're in the middle of a big controversy in baseball with cheating, stealing signs.
Yeah.
And
This is the Houston Astros who had figured out they had a camera from the center field zoomed in
Yes.
on the opposing team's catcher, and they were able to decipher the signs when they do like this and all this in their between their legs so the pitcher can see it. One of those signs means, like, let's say changeup or fastball, whatever it was. There's one of those particular hard to hit pitches. So when they recognized that sign, the guys in the clubhouse had it on a big screen TV. And when they saw the sign for that hard to hit pitch, they would start banging the garbage cans as loud as they can. And believe it or not, you could hear it out at the batter's box. So the batter now knows this next pitch is going to be hard to hit. So generally speaking, they wouldn't take
Lay
it.
off.
They let it go by them and maybe get a ball instead of a strike.
Did
Probably.
they also steal the other signs as well? The third base coach, first base coach are always sending signals on.
That's
"You're gonna
certainly
run on this."
possible. The story I saw focused
Yeah.
on what they did is they took the camera, the center field camera from the TV broadcast, and enhanced it like on CSI.
Yeah.
And then they had the micro, so you see this particular sign, and the guy who was describing it said, "Okay, that's the sign for, I think it was changeup, or curveball, something hard to hit pitch."
Yeah.
And then, as I now listen, and then you'd hear the bum 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 coming, echoing from the tunnel that goes from the dugout to the locker room.
Yep.
Yeah.
So baseball's in the middle of this big scandal, and the Houston Astros, a lot of people have been fired, a lot of people have been sent home. There's talk of taking away their wins, taking away their championships.
People on the New York Mets got fired because
Yeah.
of this, because
So-
they used to be on the Astros.
Yep.
So how does that connect to NASCAR?
Well, Denny Hamlin, who won the race yesterday, had to start from the back of the pack because his car failed inspection not once, but twice.
Oh,
In other words, they found things that weren't right. They found it. He was supposed to fix it.
like one of the
They
turn
didn't.
signals was out?
More along the lines of the engine is set up improperly to give him an advantage. The car is too tall, too low.
See, there's no turn
To getting an
signals.
advantage, there's no turn signals.
Yeah.
So it's
So
kind
they
of
only-
interesting.
They only go
Yeah.
left.
All right, yes, they only left. Yes.
Denny Hamlin gets to keep the win,
Really?
even
Well,
though they were caught.
But he was penalized.
He
and
was
paid-
penalized.
So he's already paid the price.
Right. All he had to do was go to the back of the pack.
So it's like in football, you take the penalty, you're
Yeah.
set back 20 yards, but you still then throw the winning touchdown pass.
Mm-hmm.
You still win the game.
Exactly.
All right.
So it's just kind of an interesting difference between the sports, the level of, I don't want to say cheating, let's say non-compliance with the rules.
Do you think if he had been prohibited from racing, if he wasn't in the race, was he the one who bumped Ryan Newman, or was it somebody else?
It was somebody else.
Oh, okay. So it may not have made any difference. then.
Right.
All right.
So it's just kind of interesting. One of the things everybody knows about NASCAR, if you're a NASCAR fan, is it's only cheating if you get caught. Every team is looking for that competitive advantage.
Was
and
this
they're
like
pushing
in-
it as hard as they can.
I watched the movie. I saw more racing in the movie Ford versus Ferrari than I have the rest of my life, because it was a pretty long movie.
Yeah.
I mean, and I went to a Bristol race. So, in that, they were all sorts of trying to figure out ways to beat the system and reading the rule book and saying, oh, it says we can change out any part. So they built an entire new brake assembly so they could change the entire assembly, and everyone got mad. Mm-hmm. Like, nope, we found a loophole in your rules. This is now just a part, even though you're considering it a major overhaul of the car.
Yeah.
It was clever.
Right. And they push that to the limit and sometimes go over the limit.
So after the movie's over, Matt Damon plays Carroll Shelby with his cowboy hat, and the guy who voices all the Home Depot commercials is the bad guy that everyone hates. And I realized that as I'm listening to a Home Depot commercial, I'm like, I hate this guy. Why is he talking? And I realized, oh, he was the bad. Why do I all of a sudden angry at Home Depot? I have no opinion on Home Depot up until this moment, when now all of a sudden I'm angry at Home Depot. It's because that actor was the slimy bad guy in Ford versus Ferrari, and then the good guy, Lee Iacocca, was played by the guy from The Walking Dead, John Bernthal.
Yes.
All right. Anyway, so all these guys are in it. Matt Damon and these other guys, and Christian Bale is the wacky British guy who is the great driver, and that's the whole plot hinges on him. So anyway, at the end of it, we're coming home, and I said, what should we have for dinner, Jerry? And she's like, oh, I don't know, blah, blah, blah. I said, shouldn't we have some chili? And she's like, why? I said, because Carroll Shelby. And she goes to me, I have never made that connection until this moment. Like I said, that's the only reason I went to the movie, is because we eat Carroll Shelby chili. That's why I was interested in the story. I was waiting for them to cook, which they don't.
No. He was famous for something before chili.
Well, his chili is awfully good.
Yes,
I'm
it
just
is.
saying, it's
It's
very
very
good
good.
stuff. But it's the same guy, right?
Yes.
Carroll Shelby from the racing, then had his brand name. He made all sorts of things.
Yes.
Right.
The Shelby Cobras, most of the motorheads, that's how they know Carroll Shelby.
Right. I know from chili.
Yes.
I buy his chili. It comes in a bag.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Do you go full bore, or do you only use half the seasoning?
I use it all.
There you go.
I
Well,
use
that's
it
right.
all.
You eat raw jalapenos
Yeah,
for breakfast.
I have no problem with that. You know what I don't use is the salt anymore. The salt packet goes immediately in the garbage, and the mesa flour, which thickens it. I put we don't use that. In the beginning, in the old days, we put everything in. We thought you were supposed to put everything in.
Yeah.
And we'd go easy on the spice packet for my wife, but now she's cool with it. So we put that all goes in, the hot peppers, and we leave out the thickening agent, and we leave out the salt.
Okay.
And we usually use turkey meat instead of beef, but
Right.
and don't put any beans in.
No
Doesn't
beans.
matter. That's the whole point of chili, is to make it different.
Yes.
You don't want your chili to be the same as my chili, to be the same as your chili, right?
Right.
Yep.
Is there a good place for chili around here, restaurant-wise?
We
My
don't have
kitchen,
Skyline here, so I don't know.
I make the best chili in Sevier County.
I believe you. And you mentioned the Cincinnati place.
Cincinnati,
Oh, yeah.
there is not one here yet. Maybe there should be at some point.
I've heard that's a love it or hate it thing.
It really is.
Like it's like some people swear by Cincinnati pizza, which they're not exactly known as a pizza capital.
No.
If I'm going to Cincinnati, I'm getting the ice cream. I just forgot the name of it. Help me out. It's the one that's on right
Grater's.
there. Grater's. Yeah, Grater's ice cream is great. That is outstanding with those gigantic chocolate chips. There's one at the place where the WKRP fountain is
Yeah, right.
in downtown Cincinnati.
Yes.
That you go there and you get your picture made in front of this fountain that's on the opening of WKRP. Then you go straight to Grater's. It's right there. You're looking at it when they get your picture made, in fact.
Cool.
But Skyline Chili, I don't know. I mean, what is it that makes it so great? They serve it on spaghetti or something?
It depends on it's 3-way, 4-way, 5-way. 1-way is on spaghetti. Then you add sour cream, and Jennifer, my wife, makes that or has made it for church potluck, and it was a big hit.
All right, well, then
Okay.
I believe you. All right. Well, I'm a Carroll Shelby's guy when it comes to chili. So
Maybe we'll do a chili cook-off one time here.
I have judged chili cook-offs out at
too.
Oak Ridge somewhere.
Ah.
Somewhere in Oak Ridge.
Okay.
Which was nuclear atomic chili.
I was going to say atomic chili.
Oh, yeah.
That'll
That's
light
why
you up.
the milk and the saltines are super important. All right, well, thank you so much for watching. Let me run down the rest of the schedule for the week. Tomorrow, it's our entertainment show with Dre Hilton and Jim Johnson right here at the table. Thursday, I believe, is the return of Miss Kira. So make sure you put lots of comments in about, we missed you, Kira, and all that
Yes.
kind of stuff. Because we've got to boost her ego and make her not want to go away again. Right?
Right.
Right.
You want to keep her here.
Oh, she's going to go on trips all the time. That's her thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's Thursday. And then on Friday, it's Rich Haley with Sports in the Smokies. So all of those things on the week ahead. Like us, click us, share us. That's currency to us. That's very valuable to us when you like, share, and comment. So appreciate that very much. For Brad Levitt, for Rich Haley, I'm Frank Murphy. And thank you for watching Morning in the Mountains on Mountain Fun Life. We'll be back to talk to you again tomorrow.